I stand at the back of the courtroom, fingers pressed against the cold metal railing, watching my husband of 12 years lean toward his lawyer with that smirk I used to find charming. Now it just looks cruel under the fluorescent lights. He's wearing the navy suit I bought him for our anniversary 3 years ago, the one he said made him feel invincible. Today, he's using that invincibility against me. Your Honor, his attorney begins, adjusting his wire-rimmed glasses with theatrical precision. My client has been more than generous throughout this marriage. Mrs. Castellano contributed nothing to the household income. She has no career, no assets of her own, no financial independence whatsoever. This divorce petition is transparently motivated by greed. I feel the eyes of strangers turning toward me. The court reporter's fingers pause over her keys. Even the bailiff shifts his weight, glancing my way with something that might be pity or judgment. I can't tell anymore. Marcus stands then, buttoning his jacket with one smooth motion. He's always been good at performing confidence. She's after my money, Your Honor, he says, his voice carrying that edge of wounded righteousness he's perfected over the past 6 months. I've worked 70-hour weeks building my career while she stayed home doing whatever it is she does. Now she wants half of everything I've earned. It's not right. It's not fair. The judge, a woman in her 60s with silver hair pulled into a tight bun, looks at me over the rim of her reading glasses. I don't look away. I've spent too many years looking away. Mrs. Castellano, she says, her voice neutral but not unkind. Do you have legal representation? I'm representing myself, Your Honor. My voice sounds steadier than I feel. I've practiced this moment in my head 1,000 times, standing in front of the bathroom mirror at a.m. when sleep wouldn't come. Marcus laughs, a short, sharp sound that echoes off the wood-paneled walls. His lawyer touches his arm, a warning, but the damage is done. I see the judge's expression shift just slightly, like a door closing. Mr. Castellano, she says, turning her attention back to him, you've stated that your wife contributed nothing to the household. Is that correct? That's correct, Your Honor. I paid for everything. The house, the cars, the vacations, her credit cards, everything. And during your marriage, did Mrs. Castellano work outside the home? His lawyer stands. Your Honor, my client has already established that Mrs. Castellano has no employment history during the marriage. She chose to remain unemployed while he supported the household entirely. The judge writes something down. The scratch of her pen is the loudest sound in the room. Mrs. Castellano, she says, still writing, what is your response to these claims? I open my mouth. Close it. The words I've prepared feel suddenly inadequate, like bringing a candle to fight the dark. But I say them anyway. Your Honor, I'd like to submit evidence. Marcus's lawyer stands immediately. Objection. We weren't informed of any evidence. This is highly irregular, overruled. The judge's voice cuts through his protest like a blade. Mrs. Castellano is pro se. I'll allow some latitude. Approach the bench. My hands shake as I pull the folder from my bag. It's a simple manila folder, worn at the edges from how many times I've opened and closed it over the past 3 months. Inside are papers I've organized by date, each one a small piece of a larger truth. I walk forward. The courtroom feels enormous, like crossing a desert. Marcus is staring at me now, his smirk fading into something else, confusion, maybe, or the first flicker of concern. I hand the folder to the judge. She opens it, and I watch her eyes move across the first page, then the second. Then she flips back to the first page again, her expression unreadable. Mr. Castellano, she says slowly, looking up, you stated that you paid for everything during the marriage. Is that still your testimony? Yes, Your Honor, every single thing. She holds up one of the papers. Then perhaps you can explain these bank statements showing regular deposits into your business account from an LLC registered under your wife's name. Deposits that began 8 years ago and continue to the present day. The courtroom goes silent. Not the kind of silence that's just an absence of sound, but the kind that has weight, that presses down on everyone in the room. Marcus's face drains of color. That's not. The deposits total approximately $2.3 million over 8 years, the judge continues, her voice taking on an edge now, sharp and precise. Mrs. Castellano, can you explain the source of these funds? I take a breath. I'm a software developer, Your Honor. I've been working remotely for the past decade, freelancing for various tech companies. The LLC is mine. Every deposit in those statements represents payment for my work. That's impossible, Marcus says, his voice rising. She doesn't work. She's home all day. I would have known you were at the office 70 hours a week, I say quietly, looking at him directly for the first time since we entered this courtroom. You didn't know because you never asked. His lawyer is flipping through his own papers now, frantic, searching for something that isn't there. The judge continues reading, turning pages with deliberate slowness. There's more, she says. Mrs. Castellano, these documents show that the down payment for your marital home came from your account. Is that correct? Yes, Your Honor. $300,000. I transferred it to our joint account, and Marcus handled the purchase. I thought we were building something together. The judge closes the folder. She removes her glasses and sets them on the bench, then looks at Marcus with an expression I can't quite read: disappointment, maybe, or disgust. Mr. Castellano, you've come into my courtroom and accused your wife of being a gold digger. You've claimed she contributed nothing to your marriage, that she lived off your generosity, that she has no right to marital assets. But these documents tell a very different story. They tell me that your wife not only contributed financially to your household, but that she may have contributed more than you did. Your Honor, I can explain. I'm not finished. Her voice is ice. What troubles me most, Mr. Castellano, is not just that you lied to this court. It's that you've apparently been lying to yourself and to your wife for years. You've taken credit for her work, benefited from her income, and then had the audacity to claim she was taking advantage of you. She puts her glasses back on and picks up her gavel. The weight of what's about to happen settles over the courtroom like snow. I'm issuing an immediate order freezing all marital accounts pending a full financial investigation. Mr. Castellano, you are not to access, transfer, or otherwise dispose of any marital assets until this court has a complete picture of the financial situation. We will reconvene in 30 days, at which time I expect full disclosure from both parties, though it appears Mrs. Castellano has already provided hers. The gavel comes down. The sound echoes. Marcus is staring at me like he's never seen me before. Maybe he hasn't. Maybe I've been invisible this whole time, a ghost in my own life, and he's only now realizing I was real. I gather my folder and turn to leave. My legs feel strange, like I'm walking on a surface that isn't quite solid. Behind me, I hear Marcus's lawyer trying to speak, his voice urgent and low, but the judge has already moved on to the next case. Outside, the afternoon sun is too bright. I stand on the courthouse steps, blinking against the light, and realize I'm shaking not from fear or anger, but from something else. Relief, maybe, or the beginning of it. A woman passes me on the steps, her heels clicking against the stone. She glances back, and I wonder what she sees. A woman who just won something, or a woman who just lost everything she thought she knew. Both? Probably. I walk to my car, parked 3 blocks away because I couldn't afford the courthouse lot. The meter has expired, but there's no ticket. Small mercies. I sit in the driver's seat and don't start the engine. My phone buzzes a text from Marcus's number. I don't open it. Whatever he has to say now doesn't matter. The truth is already out, spreading through that courtroom like light through a cracked door. I think about the years I spent making myself smaller, quieter, less visible. The times I didn't correct people who assumed Marcus supported me. The dinner parties where I smiled and nodded while he talked about his success, his investments, his financial acumen. I had told myself it didn't matter, that marriage meant sharing everything, that his pride was more important than my recognition. But it did matter. It mattered so much that when he finally looked at me and saw nothing but a burden, I almost believed him. The sun is setting now, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. I start the car and pull into traffic, heading toward the small apartment I rented 3 months ago when I finally accepted that our marriage was over. It's not much: 1 bedroom, outdated kitchen, a view of the parking lot, but it's mine. Paid for with my money, my work, my worth. And for the first time in 12 years, that feels like enough. The apartment is dark when I arrive. I haven't been here long enough to call it home. 3 months of sleeping on a mattress on the floor, eating takeout from containers, learning how to be alone after 12 years of being half of something I thought was whole. I drop my bag by the door and stand in the silence. It's different from the silence of the house I left, the one Marcus still lives in, the one I paid for. That silence was full of waiting for him to come home, to notice me, to ask about my day. This silence is just empty space, and somehow that feels cleaner. My phone buzzes again. Then again, I pull it out and see 7 missed calls from Marcus, 3 from his lawyer, and a string of texts that I scroll through without reading. The words blur together. Need to talk. Not what you think. We can fix this. I turn the phone off completely and set it face down on the kitchen counter. The folder from court is still in my hands. I open it and spread the papers across the small dining table I bought from a thrift store. Bank statements, tax returns, LLC registration documents, contracts from the companies I've worked with over the years. Each page is proof that I existed, that I was more than the shadow Marcus made me believe I was. I remember the day I registered the LLC, 8 years ago, sitting in a coffee shop with my laptop, filling out the online forms while Marcus was at a business dinner. I had just landed my first major contract, a 6-month project building a database system for a healthcare startup. $60,000. I was so proud I could barely breathe. I had rushed home to tell him, practicing the words in my head. Marcus, I got the contract. I'm going to be making real money now. We can finally start saving for that trip to Italy you wanted. But when he came home at midnight, smelling like whiskey and expensive cologne, he barely looked at me. Not now, babe. Rough day. We'll talk tomorrow. Tomorrow never came. Or it came and went so many times I stopped counting. So I kept working, quietly, building my business in the hours between his leaving and returning, in the spaces he never thought to look. I told myself it didn't matter that he didn't know. Marriage was partnership, wasn't it? What was mine was his. What was his was mine. We were a team, except we weren't. I was just funding his life while he took credit for the success. I make tea chamomile, the kind that's supposed to be calming, and sit by the window. The parking lot below is mostly empty. A cat walks along the fence line, pausing to clean its paw in a pool of streetlight. Everything feels suspended, like the world is holding its breath. The hearing plays back in my mind. The look on Marcus's face when the judge read out those numbers. $2.3 million. 8 years of work, of late nights and early mornings, of video calls with clients while he slept or wasn't home. Money that went into our account, that paid for our house, our cars, our life. But it was never really ours. Was it? Because he never knew it existed. He never asked where the money came from, never questioned how we could afford things on just his salary. He simply assumed he was that successful, that his work alone was enough to build the life we had. And I let him believe it. That's the part that sits heavy in my chest now, like a stone I swallowed years ago and forgot about until this moment. I let him believe the lie because it was easier than demanding to be seen. The tea grows cold in my hands. Outside, the cat has disappeared, leaving only the empty fence and the yellow glow of the streetlights. My laptop is on the couch where I left it this morning. I open it and check my email. 3 new project inquiries, 2 from companies I've worked with before, 1 from a startup in Seattle that found my portfolio online. The Seattle one is interesting. They need a complete system overhaul. 6 to 8 months of work, possibly longer. The kind of project that could carry me through the divorce and into whatever comes after. I start to type a response, then stop. My fingers hover over the keys. For 8 years, I've worked in secret. Not because Marcus forbade it, but because I never insisted on being known. I made myself invisible and then resented him for not seeing me. But how could he see what I refused to show? I delete what I've written and start again. Thank you for reaching out. I'm very interested in discussing this project. I should mention that I'm currently going through some personal changes that will actually allow me to dedicate more focused time to my work. I'd love to schedule a call to discuss your needs in detail. Personal changes. That's one way to describe the demolition of a 12-year marriage. I hit send before I can second-guess myself. The apartment feels smaller suddenly, the walls pressing in. I grab my keys and go for a walk. Something I've been doing more of lately, moving through the neighborhood at night, watching the lit windows of other people's lives, wondering what truths they're hiding or revealing to each other. There's a park 2 blocks away, mostly empty at this hour except for a few teenagers on the basketball court and an old man walking a small dog. I sit on a bench near the playground and watch the empty swings move slightly in the breeze. My phone is still off, back in the apartment. I imagine the messages piling up, Marcus's panic growing with each unanswered call. Part of me, a small, mean part I'm not proud of, enjoys the thought of him finally feeling what I felt for so many years, the desperate need to be heard by someone who isn't listening. But mostly I just feel tired. Tired of being angry, tired of being hurt, tired of carrying the weight of a marriage that ended long before either of us admitted it. A woman jogs past, earbuds in, ponytail swinging. She doesn't look at me. I'm just part of the scenery, another person on a bench in a park at night. Anonymous, invisible, but this time, it's a choice. I think about the judge's face when she read those bank statements. The way her expression shifted from neutral professionalism to something harder, sharper. She saw what Marcus refused to see, that I was never the burden he claimed I was, that I was holding up more than my share of the weight, and he never even noticed because he was too busy congratulating himself for carrying it all. The teenagers leave the basketball court, their voices fading into the distance. The old man and his dog complete another lap and head toward the park exit. I'm alone now, just me and the empty swings and the sound of wind through the trees. I should feel scared. Alone in a park at night, my entire life upended, my future uncertain. But instead, I feel something else, something I haven't felt in so long I almost don't recognize it. I feel free, not happy, not yet. Maybe not for a long time. But free from the constant effort of making myself smaller, quieter, less than what I am. Free from the exhaustion of loving someone who only loved the version of me that didn't threaten his narrative. I stay on the bench until the park lights start to flicker, the automatic timer preparing to shut them off for the night. Then I walk back to the apartment, taking the long way, past the closed shops and the late-night convenience store where a clerk scrolls through his phone behind bulletproof glass. When I get home, I turn my phone back on. 23 missed calls, 47 text messages, 2 voicemails. I delete them all without listening or reading. Whatever Marcus needs to say, he can say it in court, in front of the judge who saw through his lies in less than an hour. I open my laptop again and start working on a proposal for the Seattle startup. The work is familiar, comforting the logic of code, the clean structure of databases, the satisfaction of building something that works exactly as it's supposed to. No ambiguity, no hidden meanings, no wondering if you're being seen or heard. Just problems and solutions, input and output, truth in its purest form. I work until a.m., until my eyes burn and my back aches from sitting in the same position for too long. When I finally close the laptop and lie down on my mattress on the floor, I don't think about Marcus or the hearing or what happens next. I think about the Seattle project, about the code I'll write, the systems I'll build, the work that will have my name on it, not hidden in an LLC, not funneled through joint accounts, but visible and mine. And for the first time in months, I fall asleep without crying. The letter arrives on a Tuesday morning, slipped under my apartment door while I'm making coffee. No stamp, no return address. Just my name written in handwriting I don't recognize, neat, careful letters that look like they were written by someone who wanted to get it exactly right. I set my coffee down and open it standing in the doorway, still in my pajamas, the morning light cutting across the floor in sharp angles. Mrs. Castellano, you don't know me, but I know you. Or rather, I know of you. My name is Patricia Hewitt, and I'm a forensic accountant. I was hired by your husband's business partner 6 months ago to review the company's financial records. What I found led me to you. I'm writing because I believe you deserve to know the full truth about your marriage and your money. I've attached documents that I think you'll find illuminating. I'm also available to testify, should you need an expert witness in your divorce proceedings. What your husband did wasn't just morally wrong. It may have been illegal. Sincerely, Patricia Hewitt, CPA. My hands are shaking. I look down at the envelope again and realize it's thicker than I thought. There's a flash drive taped to the inside of the flap, small and black, with a yellow sticky note that says simply, "Open on a secure computer." I close the door and lock it, then stand there holding the envelope like it might explode. A forensic accountant, hired by Marcus's business partner. 6 months ago, right around the time Marcus started talking about divorce, right around the time he started staying later at the office, coming home with that look on his face like he was carrying a secret that was eating him alive. I thought the secret was another woman. Maybe it was something worse. I take the flash drive to my laptop, then stop. Secure computer. I have an old laptop I use for testing, completely isolated from any network. No personal information on it. I dig it out of the closet, boot it up, and plug in the drive. The files load slowly. Spreadsheets, bank statements, corporate documents, emails. Hundreds of pages, maybe thousands. I start clicking through them randomly, trying to make sense of what I'm seeing. Then I find a folder labeled Castellano Personal Accounts and everything stops. There are accounts I've never seen before. Accounts in Marcus's name, accounts in both our names, accounts in the name of his company. And transfers, so many transfers, moving money in patterns that make my head spin. Money coming from my LLC into our joint account, then immediately transferring out to accounts I don't have access to. Money that should have been ours, becoming his alone. I open a spreadsheet titled Summary Analysis and see numbers that make my stomach drop. Over 8 years, Marcus transferred approximately $1.8 million from our joint accounts into personal accounts I knew nothing about. Money I earned. Money I deposited thinking we were building our future together. He was stealing from me, from us, from the marriage I thought we had. There's a separate folder labeled Business Fraud and I almost don't open it. I'm not sure I can handle more, but I click anyway, and what I find is worse than I imagined. Marcus's company, the one he's so proud of, the one he built his entire identity around, was funded almost entirely with my money. The angel investors he always talked about, the venture capital that got him started, the business loans he claimed to have secured, none of it was real. It was all money he took from our joint account. Money I earned, funneled through shell companies to make it look legitimate. His entire success story was built on my work, and he convinced the world, convinced me that he did it all himself. I read through emails between Marcus and his business partner, a man named David Chan. The emails start friendly, congratulatory, full of excitement about the company's growth. Then they shift. David starts asking questions about the funding sources. Marcus deflects, makes excuses, promises documentation that never comes. The last email is from 3 weeks ago. Marcus, I've hired a forensic accountant to review our books. I need to know where the money came from. If you can't provide legitimate documentation of our funding sources by end of month, I'm going to the SEC. I'm sorry, but I have to protect myself. David. Marcus never responded. I sit back from the laptop, my vision blurring. The coffee I made earlier is cold now, forgotten on the counter. Outside, someone's car alarm goes off, then stops. Normal sounds of a normal morning in a world that suddenly feels completely foreign. My husband didn't just lie to me. He built an empire on stolen money and convinced everyone, including himself, that he was a self-made success. And when I asked for a divorce, when I threatened to expose the truth even without meaning to, he tried to destroy me first. Called me a gold digger, accused me of being after his money, when all along he was the one taking mine. I think about the hearing yesterday, about his face when the judge froze the accounts. He wasn't just angry or embarrassed. He was scared. Because frozen accounts mean investigations, and investigations mean people will look closely at where the money came from and where it went. And now they'll find what Patricia Hewitt found. I copy all the files to my own secure drive, then remove the flash drive and hold it in my palm. It's so small, this piece of plastic and metal that contains the truth about my entire marriage. 8 years of lies, compressed into something that weighs less than an ounce. My phone rings the first time since I turned it back on this morning. Unknown number. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. Mrs. Castellano. A woman's voice, professional but warm. This is Patricia Hewitt. I wanted to make sure you received my letter. I got it, I say. My voice sounds strange, distant. I'm looking at the files now. I'm sorry, she says, and she sounds like she means it. I debated whether to send them. It's not standard practice, and I could get in trouble for it. But I have a daughter your age, And I kept thinking if this was happening to her, I'd want someone to tell her the truth. Why did David Chen hire you? He suspected something was wrong with the company's finances. Money wasn't adding up. Documentation was missing or inconsistent. When I started digging, I found the transfers from your joint account. That led me to your LLC, and then everything else fell into place. Does Marcus know that you found this? David confronted him 3 weeks ago. Since then, Marcus has been trying to move assets, hide money, create a paper trail that makes it look like the funding came from legitimate sources. That's probably why he pushed for the divorce he needed to separate his assets from yours before everything came to light. I closed my eyes. He was going to leave me with nothing, make me look like the villain while he kept everything I built. Yes, Patricia says quietly. That appears to have been his plan. But Mrs. Castellano, and please call me Patricia, you need to know that what he did may constitute fraud, embezzlement, and possibly tax evasion. This goes beyond divorce court. The SEC is already investigating based on David's complaint. The IRS will likely get involved. This is serious. What should I do? Get a lawyer, a good one, someone who specializes in financial fraud. Give them these files. And prepare yourself, this is going to get worse before it gets better. Marcus is going to fight, and he's going to fight dirty. He already is. I know. I was at the hearing yesterday. I sat in the back. I wanted to see him face you after everything I'd discovered. She pauses. You were very brave. Standing up there alone. I didn't feel brave. I felt terrified. Bravery is in the absence of fear, Mrs. Castellano. It's doing what needs to be done despite the fear. You did that yesterday. You'll need to keep doing it. We talk for a few more minutes. She gives me the names of 3 lawyers, all specialists in financial fraud and complex divorces. She explains what the investigation will likely involve, what questions I should prepare to answer, what documents I should gather. Her voice is steady, methodical, the voice of someone who's guided people through this kind of nightmare before. When we hang up, I sit in the silence of my apartment and try to process everything. The man I married, the man I loved, the man I built a life with, he was never real. Or maybe he was real once, and somewhere along the way he became someone else. Someone who could look at me every day and lie without flinching. I think about all the times he came home excited about a new client, a successful pitch, a growing company. I celebrated with him, proud of his success, never knowing it was my success he was celebrating. My work, my money, my future he was building his empire on. And I think about yesterday in the courtroom, the way he looked at me when the judge read those numbers, not with guilt or shame, but with anger, like I was the one who betrayed him by refusing to stay invisible. I open my laptop again and start writing an email to the first lawyer on Patricia's list. My hands are steadier now. The shock is fading, replaced by something colder, harder. Not revenge, I don't want revenge. I want justice. I want the truth to be known. I want Marcus to face what he's done, not to me, but to himself, to the person he could have been if he hadn't chosen lies over integrity. The email is short. I need representation in a divorce case involving significant financial fraud. I have extensive documentation. Please contact me at your earliest convenience. I send it, then send similar emails to the other 2 lawyers. Then I get dressed, make fresh coffee, and start organizing the files Patricia sent me. I create folders, label documents, build a timeline of transfers and transactions. It's the same kind of work I do for my clients, taking chaos and turning it into order, finding patterns in data, making the invisible visible. By noon, I have a complete picture of what Marcus did and when he did it. The evidence is overwhelming, undeniable. He can't talk his way out of this. He can't charm or manipulate or gaslight his way to innocence. The truth is there, in black and white, in numbers that don't lie. My phone buzzes an email from one of the lawyers. She can meet tomorrow morning. She's reviewed similar cases. She's confident we have a strong position. I respond immediately. I'll be there. Then I close my laptop and look around my small apartment. The mattress on the floor, the thrift store furniture, the bare walls. It's not much, but it's honest. There are no lies here. No hidden accounts. No stolen futures. Just me and the truth and the work of rebuilding. Outside, the afternoon sun is bright and clear. I open the window and let the air in, fresh and cool, carrying the sound of traffic and distant voices and all the ordinary noise of the world continuing on. Somewhere across town, Marcus is probably panicking, calling lawyers, trying to figure out how to contain the damage. Let him panic. Let him feel what it's like to have the ground disappear beneath your feet, to realize that everything you thought was solid was built on lies. I've been living in that freefall for months. Now it's his turn. The lawyer's office is on the 43rd floor of a glass tower downtown, the kind of building where everything whispers money and power. Her name is Rebecca Thornton, and she's exactly what I need: sharp eyes, no-nonsense handshake, a reputation for destroying opposing counsel in cases like mine. She reads through the files Patricia sent while I sit across from her desk, watching the city spread out below us through floor-to-ceiling windows. From up here, everything looks small and manageable, like a model city where nothing can really hurt you. This is extraordinary, Rebecca says finally, looking up from her laptop. I've handled dozens of divorce cases involving financial misconduct, but this, she shakes her head. Your husband didn't just hide assets. He built an entire fraudulent business empire using your money and then tried to paint you as a parasite. The audacity is almost impressive. What happens now? Now we go on the offensive. The judge froze the accounts, which buys us time, but Marcus will be working with his lawyers to unfreeze them, to create explanations, to muddy the waters. We need to move fast. She pulls up a document on her screen. I'm filing an emergency motion today requesting a full forensic audit of all marital assets, all business accounts, everything. I'm also requesting that the court appoint an independent accountant, not Patricia, since she was hired by David Chen, but someone with no connection to either party. Will they approve it? After what happened at the hearing? Absolutely. Judge Morrison doesn't like being lied to, and your husband made the mistake of lying to her face. Rebecca leans back in her chair. But I need you to understand something, Mrs. Castellano. This is going to get ugly. Marcus is facing potential criminal charges: fraud, embezzlement, tax evasion. He's going to fight with everything he has, and that means he's going to try to destroy your credibility. He'll claim you knew about everything, that you were complicit, that you're only playing victim now to avoid your own liability. But I didn't know. I had no idea. I believe you. The evidence supports you. But Marcus's lawyers will argue that it's impossible you didn't know. They'll say you're a software developer, financially sophisticated, that you must have seen the transfers, the missing money. They'll try to make you look like a co-conspirator turning on him to save yourself. The city below suddenly doesn't look so manageable anymore. Can they do that? Can they make people believe I was part of this? They can try, but we have something they don't: the truth and documentation to prove it. Your LLC records show consistent work history and income. Your tax returns show you reported every dollar you earned. You have emails with clients, contracts, payment records. You have a paper trail that proves you were running a legitimate business while Marcus was running a criminal enterprise. She closes her laptop. The question isn't whether we can prove your innocence. The question is whether you're prepared for what it's going to cost you emotionally to go through this process. I think about the last 8 years. The quiet mornings working while Marcus slept. The pride I swallowed every time someone congratulated him on his success. The way I made myself smaller and smaller until I almost disappeared completely. I'm prepared, I say. I'm done being invisible. Rebecca smiles, not a warm smile, but a satisfied one. Like a general who just found the perfect soldier for a difficult mission. Good. Then let's destroy him. The emergency hearing is scheduled for Friday, 3 days away. Rebecca files motions, subpoenas records, builds our case with the precision of someone constructing a building, every piece placed exactly where it needs to be, every support beam tested for strength. I spend those 3 days gathering everything she asks for. Bank statements going back 10 years. Every contract I've ever signed. Every email exchange with clients. Tax returns. LLC documents. Business licenses. My entire professional life, laid out in folders and files, ready to be examined. On Thursday night, Marcus calls. I almost don't answer, but Rebecca told me to document everything, so I put it on speaker and hit record. Emma. His voice is rough, like he hasn't slept. We need to talk. We can talk through our lawyers. please. Just listen. 5 minutes. I don't say anything. But I don't hang up either. I know you're angry, he says. I know I messed up. But this what you're doing, it's going to destroy everything. The company, my reputation, our future, our future. The words come out harder than I intended. Marcus, you stole from me for 8 years. You built your entire life on money you took from our marriage and then called me a gold digger when I asked for a divorce. I didn't steal. It was our money. We were married. What's yours is mine. What's mine is yours. That's how marriage works. That's not how marriage works. Marriage is partnership, honesty, trust. You had none of those things. I was protecting you. His voice rises, defensive. You don't understand the pressure I was under. The stress of building a company, of being responsible for employees. For investors, there were no investors, Marcus. Just my money, funneled through fake accounts to make you look successful. Silence. Long enough that I think he might have hung up. David told you, he says finally. That bastard. I knew he'd turn on me. David didn't tell me anything. The evidence told me. Numbers don't lie. Even when people do. Emma, please. If this goes to court, if the SEC gets involved, I could go to prison. Is that what you want? To see me in prison? I close my eyes. Once, that question would have broken me. The thought of Marcus suffering, of being the cause of his pain, it would have been unbearable. But that was before I knew the truth. Before I understood that the man I loved was a fiction, a character he played while the real Marcus was stealing my future. What I want, I say slowly, is for you to face the consequences of your choices. Not because I hate you, but because it's the right thing. Because you hurt me, and you hurt David, and you hurt everyone who believed in you. And you need to answer for that. You self-righteous, he catches himself. But not fast enough. You think you're so perfect, so innocent. But you're not. You let this happen. You never asked questions, never wanted to know where the money went. You were happy to live in that house, drive that car, take those vacations. You benefited from everything I built. Everything you built with my money. Our money. No, Marcus. My money that you stole. And tomorrow, a judge is going to see the evidence, and she's going to know exactly what you did. I hang up before he can respond. My hands are shaking, but not from fear. From anger, yes, but also from something else, a sense of rightness, of finally standing in my own truth without apologizing for it. I send the recording to Rebecca with a note. He called. Thought you should hear this. She responds immediately. Perfect. This is exactly what we needed. See you tomorrow. Friday morning arrives cold and clear. I dress carefully, navy suit, wide blouse, minimal jewelry. Rebecca's advice: look professional, composed, like someone who has nothing to hide. The courtroom is more crowded this time. I see David Chen sitting in the back, Patricia Hewitt beside him. Marcus's parents are there, his mother's face tight with anger or fear, I can't tell which. And Marcus himself, at the defendant's table with 2 lawyers now instead of 1, both of them in expensive suits that probably cost more than my monthly rent. Judge Morrison enters and we all stand. She looks tired, like she's already had a long day and it's only a.m. Let's get started, she says, settling into her chair. Miss Thornton, you've filed an emergency motion for a comprehensive forensic audit. Make your case. Rebecca stands, and when she speaks, her voice fills the courtroom with quiet authority. Your Honor, since our last hearing, new evidence has come to light that suggests Mr. Castellano's financial misconduct extends far beyond hiding marital assets. We have documentation showing that he systematically transferred funds from joint accounts into personal accounts without Mrs. Castellano's knowledge or consent. We have evidence that he used these funds, money earned by Mrs. Castellano through her legitimate software development business, to finance his company while claiming the funding came from outside investors. Marcus's lead attorney stands. Your Honor, this is a transparent attempt to— I'm not finished, Rebecca says, her voice sharp as a blade. We also have evidence that Mr. Castellano may have committed securities fraud, tax evasion, and embezzlement. His business partner, Mr. David Chen, has filed a complaint with the SEC. The IRS has opened an investigation. This is no longer just a divorce case, Your Honor. This is a criminal matter. The courtroom erupts in whispers. Judge Morrison's gavel comes down hard. Order. Miss Thornton, these are serious allegations. I assume you have evidence to support them? Extensive evidence, Your Honor. Bank records, corporate documents, email correspondence, testimony from a forensic accountant. We're prepared to present it all. Judge Morrison looks at Marcus's lawyers. Response: the lead attorney, a man named Gerald Hutchins with silver hair and a reputation for winning impossible cases, stands slowly. Your Honor, my client categorically denies these allegations. Mrs. Castellano is attempting to rewrite history to avoid her own culpability. She was fully aware of all financial transactions during the marriage. She had access to all accounts. The suggestion that she was somehow kept in the dark is absurd. Then you won't object to a full forensic audit? Hutchins hesitates, just for a second, but it's enough. Your Honor, such an audit would be invasive, expensive, and unnecessary. I'll take that as a yes. You do object. Judge Morrison makes a note. Motion granted. I'm appointing Thomas Brennan as independent forensic accountant. He'll have full access to all accounts, all records, all documentation. Both parties will cooperate fully. Mr. Brennan will report his findings to this court within 60 days. Your Honor, Hutchins tries again, but she cuts him off. I'm not finished. I'm also issuing a restraining order preventing Mr. Castellano from accessing, transferring, or otherwise disposing of any assets pending the completion of this audit. That includes business accounts, personal accounts, property, vehicles, everything. Mr. Castellano, do you understand? Marcus stands, his face pale. Yes, Your Honor. Good, because if I find out you've violated this order, you'll be held in contempt. And that's the least of your problems. She looks at Rebecca. Miss Thornton, I understand the SEC and IRS are conducting their own investigations? That's correct, Your Honor. Then I'm staying these divorce proceedings pending the outcome of those investigations. This court will reconvene once we have a complete picture of the financial situation. She looks at both tables. I want to be very clear about something. I don't like being lied to. I don't like people who abuse the trust of their spouses or their business partners. And I especially don't like people who come into my courtroom and try to paint their victims as villains. Mr. Castellano, you have a lot to answer for. I suggest you start being honest, because the truth is coming out whether you cooperate or not. The gavel comes down again. Final and absolute. As people start to leave, I stay in my seat, watching Marcus gather his papers with shaking hands. His mother approaches him, touches his arm, says something I can't hear. He shakes his head, pulls away from her, walks out of the courtroom without looking back. David Chen stops by my seat on his way out. Thank you, he says quietly, for having the courage to do this. I should have acted sooner, but I was scared. You weren't. I was terrified. I tell him. I still am. But she did it anyway. That's what matters. Patricia Hewitt gives me a small nod as she passes. Rebecca is talking to the court clerk, finalizing paperwork, making sure every detail is documented. I walk out of the courthouse into the cold morning air and realize I'm crying not from sadness or fear, but from relief. The truth is out now. It's in official records and court documents, in the hands of investigators who won't stop until they've uncovered everything. Marcus can't hide anymore, and neither can I. My phone buzzes a text from the Seattle startup. We'd love to move forward with your proposal. When can you start? I look up at the sky, clear and blue and infinite, and type back, immediately. 6 months later, I'm sitting in a coffee shop in Seattle, laptop open, working on the final phase of the system overhaul for the startup that hired me back in December. The project has been challenging, consuming, exactly what I needed, something to pour myself into while the legal machinery ground through the wreckage of my marriage. The coffee shop has become my office. The baristas know my order now: oat milk latte, extra shot, no foam. There's a comfort in that small recognition, in being seen for something as simple as a coffee preference. My phone buzzes. Rebecca's name appears on the screen. It's done, she says when I answer. The forensic audit is complete. Thomas Brennan submitted his report to the court this morning. I close my laptop. Around me, the coffee shop continues its normal rhythm, the hiss of the espresso machine, conversations blending into white noise, someone laughing at a table near the window. But for me, everything has stopped, and everything we suspected was confirmed. Marcus transferred $1.8 million from joint accounts into personal accounts over 8 years. He used your money to fund his company while claiming it came from investors. He falsified documents, created shell companies, committed securities fraud and tax evasion. The evidence is overwhelming. I should feel vindicated, triumphant, even. But mostly I just feel tired. What happens now? The SEC is filing criminal charges. The IRS is pursuing tax fraud charges. Marcus's company is being dissolved. Assets seized to pay back creditors and investors, real investors who came in later after the initial fraud. David Chen is cooperating with investigators in exchange for immunity. And as for the divorce, she pauses. Judge Morrison is awarding you full restitution of the $1.8 million, plus half of all remaining marital assets, plus spousal support for 3 years. Marcus's lawyers tried to argue that you were complicit, but the evidence destroyed that argument. Your paper trail is immaculate. You reported every dollar, paid every tax, ran a completely legitimate business while he was running a criminal enterprise. So I won. You won. Rebecca's voice softens. Emma, you did more than win. You exposed a fraud that could have continued for years, hurting more people. David Chen's company would have collapsed eventually, taking innocent employees and investors down with it. You stop that. After we hang up, I sit with my cold coffee and watch people pass by the window. A young couple holding hands, an old man with a newspaper, a woman pushing a stroller, talking on her phone, juggling motherhood and whatever else fills her life. Normal people, living normal lives, carrying their own secrets and struggles and small victories. I think about Marcus, probably sitting in his lawyer's office right now, learning that his entire world is collapsing. Part of me apart, I'm not proud of, feels satisfaction at that thought. But mostly I just feel sad. Sad for the marriage we could have had if he'd chosen honesty. Sad for the man he could have been if he hadn't let ego and fear turn him into someone who could steal from the person who loved him most. My laptop pings an email from the Seattle startup CEO. The system is perfect. Exceeded all expectations. We'd like to discuss a permanent position, if you're interested. Senior developer, full benefits, equity package. Think about it and let us know. I read it twice, then a third time. A permanent position, equity, recognition for my work, my skills, my value, everything I never had in my marriage, offered freely by people who barely know me. I start to type a response, then stop. There's something I need to do first. I pull up a blank document and start writing. Not an email, not a legal document, but a letter to Marcus. Not because he deserves it, but because I need to say these things, even if he never reads them. Marcus, by the time you read this, you'll know everything. The audit results, the criminal charges, the divorce settlement. You'll probably be angry, feel betrayed, think I destroyed your life out of spite or revenge. But I need you to understand something. I didn't do this to hurt you. I did it because it was right. Because you hurt me, and David, and everyone who trusted you. Because the truth matters, even when it's painful. I loved you for 12 years. I loved you with everything I had. I made myself smaller so you could feel bigger. I hid my success so you could claim yours. I convinced myself that your happiness was more important than my own recognition. That was my mistake. Not loving you, but losing myself in the process. You asked me once if I wanted to see you in prison. The truth is, I don't want to see you at all. I don't want revenge or vindication or the satisfaction of watching you suffer. I just want to move forward, to build a life where I don't have to hide who I am or what I've accomplished. I hope someday you understand why I did this. I hope you find a way to become the person you pretended to be: honest, hardworking, worthy of the success you claimed. But that's your journey now, not mine. I'm done carrying your weight. Emma, I saved the letter, but don't send it. Maybe I will someday. Or maybe I'll just keep it as a reminder of who I was and who I'm becoming. Either way, writing it feels like closing a door that's been open too long, letting in cold air and old ghosts. I respond to the Seattle CEO instead. I'm very interested. Let's talk details. Then I pack up my laptop and walk out into the afternoon sun. Seattle is beautiful in late spring. The rain has cleared, leaving everything green and bright and new. I have nowhere I need to be. No one waiting for me. No obligations except the ones I choose. For the first time in my adult life, I'm completely free. I walk through Pike Place Market, past the fish throwers and flower stalls and tourists taking pictures. I buy fresh tulips from a vendor who wraps them in brown paper and ties them with twine. I don't have a vase in my apartment yet, but I'll figure it out. That's what I do now, figure things out, solve problems, build solutions. My phone rings again. Unknown number. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. Mrs. Castellano, this is Thomas Brennan, the forensic accountant. Please, call me Emma. Emma then. I wanted to reach out personally, not just submit the dry report. I've been doing this work for 20 years, and I've seen a lot of financial fraud. But what struck me about your case wasn't the fraud itself, it was you. Me. Your records were impeccable. Every transaction documented, every contract filed, every tax return accurate to the penny. You built a successful business while your husband was building a house of cards, and you did it the right way. That takes integrity, Emma. Real integrity. The kind that doesn't bend when no one's watching. I stopped walking, standing in the middle of the market with my tulips and my phone and this unexpected validation from a stranger who saw the truth in numbers. Thank you, I say, and my voice cracks slightly. You have no idea how much I needed to hear that. I think I do. Take care of yourself, Emma. You've been through hell, but you came out the other side with your integrity intact. That's rare. After he hangs up, I stand there for a long moment, letting his words sink in. Integrity intact. Not damaged or compromised or lost in the wreckage of my marriage, but intact. Whole. Mine. I walk back to my apartment, a real apartment now, not just a temporary landing place. I've been here 6 months, and it's starting to feel like home. I've bought furniture, hung pictures, planted herbs in pots on the small balcony. Small acts of permanence, of claiming space in the world. I put the tulips in a water pitcher, I still don't have a vase, and set them on the kitchen counter where the afternoon light hits them just right. Then I open my laptop and start working on the Seattle project again, losing myself in the clean logic of code. The satisfaction of building something that works exactly as it should. Hours pass. The sun sets, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. I order Thai food, eat it straight from the container while reviewing my work. It's not glamorous, this life I'm building, but it's honest. It's mine. Around midnight, I get an email from Rebecca. Just a link, no message. I click it and find myself reading a news article. Tech entrepreneur charged with securities fraud. Tax evasion. There's a photo of Marcus being led out of his office by federal agents. He looks smaller than I remember, diminished, like someone deflating in real time. The article details the charges, the investigation, the evidence. It mentions me only briefly. Castellano's ex-wife, a software developer, uncovered the fraud during divorce proceedings. Ex-wife. The divorce was finalized 2 weeks ago, but seeing it in print makes it real in a way the legal documents didn't. I close the article and open my photo library instead, scrolling back through years of pictures. Marcus and me on our wedding day, both of us so young and hopeful. Vacations, holidays, ordinary moments that seemed important at the time. I look at my face in those photos and barely recognize the woman staring back, always slightly out of focus, always in Marcus's shadow, always smiling but never quite reaching her eyes. I delete them, not out of anger, but out of necessity. Those people don't exist anymore. That marriage, that life, that version of myself who thought love meant disappearing, it's all gone now. And I don't need photographs to remember what I've learned. I keep only one photo, me alone at the Grand Canyon, taken on a work trip 3 years ago. I'm standing at the edge of the rim, wind in my hair, looking out at something vast and beautiful and impossible to fully comprehend. I remember that moment, the feeling of being small in the face of something so much bigger than myself, but not insignificant. Just small, just human, just enough. That's the person I'm becoming again. The person I always was, underneath the layers of compromise and silence and self-erasure. My phone buzzes one last time. A text from Patricia Hewitt. Saw the news. How are you holding up? I think about how to answer that. I'm not happy exactly. The vindication doesn't feel as satisfying as I thought it would. But I'm not sad either. I'm something else, something quieter, more solid. Like a house that's been through a storm and discovered its foundation was stronger than it looked. I type back. I'm okay. Really okay. Thank you for everything. You did the hard part. I just showed you where to look. That's what I needed. Someone to help me see what was always there. Take care of yourself, Emma. You deserve good things. I set the phone down and walk out onto the balcony. The city spreads out below, lights twinkling in the darkness, thousands of lives intersecting and diverging, each one carrying its own story of loss and recovery and reinvention. Somewhere out there, Marcus is facing the consequences of his choices. Somewhere, David Chen is rebuilding his company on honest foundations. Somewhere, other people are discovering their own truths, fighting their own battles, learning their own lessons about integrity and courage and the cost of staying silent. But here, on this balcony, in this moment, there's just me and the night air and the quiet satisfaction of knowing I did what was right, even when it was hard, especially because it was hard. I think about the Seattle job offer, about the future I'm building, about all the code I'll write and systems I'll create and problems I'll solve. My name will be on that work now, not hidden in an LLC, not funneled through someone else's success, but visible and mine. And that feels like enough. More than enough. It feels like everything.